We're going to talk about the one.
Yes.
Well, the theory of the one. I used to believe in the one.
Mm.
I think now I believe in the sum.
Oh, expand.
I went
explain
from the one to the sum, because I think if you believe in the one, there's just so much pressure, and you just enter the dating. You enter it very high stakes, very early, and yeah, I think you're not as open if you have this one complex around you and this belief that God is bringing you the one. Because I think, if you believe in the one, you really just kind of discount a lot of good options, and it's not really, it's just someone who's compatible with you, a helper. They don't have to have this messianic, godlike, soulmate ability. But I don't like the one. I believe in the sum. I don't believe in the none.
I mean, I think when it comes to the one, it's an interesting conversation, because I think a lot of people will say that they do believe in the one because it almost takes the responsibility of finding someone out of your hands.
Well, this is what I was going to say. Go on.
Okay. Well, do you want me to let you say it, or do you want me to continue?
Well, I was just going to say the one removes effort and removes responsibility a lot of the time.
It does, because if you're saying, well, God will just bring me my one person, and actually that didn't work out, it's because they weren't the one. But actually, you may have done something really terrible in that relationship, and they could have been the person that you would have ended up with, but you messed it up.
No.
So that's just taking the responsibility completely out of your hands and saying, well, they weren't the one. Let me just wait to find the one. And so I think it can sometimes erase that. No accountability.
And also, like, relationships, they take labor, they take effort to like build something, and like you actually have to work at it. It's a graft sometimes, and I think when people say the one, it's just like, oh Lord, just let me fall in love, let me have this healthy relationship without any effort. And I think you can build something great with a lot of people. Like if you're both committed and you both like saying, let's build something, like most of the time you can. And like I think that the one is very idealistic, and it kind of abdicates responsibility. I think we get distracted with the one. But Cassandra, what do you feel like your current partner is the one?
I think that my partner, my fiancé, is a very, 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 almost scarily perfect fit for me.
Really?
Personally.
That's great.
But we have both discussed this before, and there have been previous partners that he could have married if the relationship didn't end. Me, I've thought about it before with previous partners. We obviously didn't end up with those people because of the choices that we have made, and we've ended up together. Do I think that it was, we've said, to be fair, ourselves, that we felt like it was divine intervention. Do you feel as though
really?
We have said that for ourselves? But I also know, and I don't take away from the fact that we did both have to make the right choices to find one another. Like if we didn't make those right choices, we wouldn't have found one another. It just wouldn't have happened. So as much as I believe he is, I would say, the best match I've ever had in terms of just temperament, personality, all of these things. We also really had to learn. We went through a lot individually, and we learned what we wanted and what we liked. We had to make the choices. We chose to sign up to a particular app. We chose to match each other. We chose to talk. We chose to go on a date. We chose to see each other again. It wasn't just, whoop-de-doo-dah, God has said that's the one off the bat, and that's it. It's just now, it's done. When I first saw him on the app, I didn't look and think that's the one. I thought he seems like a very suitable match for me. Let me swipe on him, and he thought the same. And so when people say the one, I feel as though it's almost like they meet people and immediately they just know, okay, that's the one for me. But actually, nah, I think that doesn't always happen. And I think it's like they say Friends. Hard. Do you watch Friends?
Yeah, I like Friends. Well,
whenever it's on. It's not on anymore, but you know, there's an episode in Friends, and Monica and Chandler. Spoiler alert, but also not spoiler alert because you should have watched this by now. It's old, but there's an episode in Friends where Monica and Chandler are talking about whether or not they think that one exists, and Monica says, "No, whoa. I think that we met, we fell in love, and we work really hard to make our relationship work." And that's what she thinks. That's what she thought. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, fair enough. You have to work to make things work. And it's not, you just bumped and dropped your books on the floor like a film, and you met eyes over, your eyes met, and all of a sudden you just know it's the one because you just feel it. How many times have we just assumed someone's the one? And then it flops?
And like, 100%. Like, I'm trying to think in my life, like the girls that I've thought that could be the one, it's always like failed. Like it's always just hasn't even got into like a relationship because it's just like, you are the one. I've built you up so high. I've imagined us getting married. I've imagined us with kids. But I haven't taken you out on a coffee date yet. But like, it's just, yeah. So I think I really try and just hold back now, but I don't want to. I don't want to be like, one of them old men who's just like not romantic and doesn't believe in love. Well,
why do you think you would turn into that? Or how would you turn into that?
I feel like I'm becoming more that. I feel like I'm becoming more that.
Oh no.
Yeah, just like love doesn't exist. Let's just get a practical choice.
Is that is that the path that you're going down? So what do you think that?
No.
I was gonna say no. Don't go down that path.
Well, you got to remember. I think I came from a super like Disney romantic comedy. I was like right on that spectrum, like very idealistic. Like wouldn't date anyone in my 20s, because God's got someone for me. But like. So I think it's good for me to be like a bit more just open and like who's compatible rather than. But I don't want to lose hold of love,
But okay, so why do you think compatibility can't go hand in hand with feeling love as well? But no, I do think that I think putting so much pressure on the one, it can make you look for something that doesn't exist. So I just found this article, and it's got like a case for the one existing and a case for the one not existing. And here it says,
okay.
Yeah, so it's got here point number 4, the extraordinary connection. People who meet their one often describe it as a relationship that feels different from all others, more fulfilling, more harmonious and balanced. This idea suggests that even though you have dated others, only one person makes you feel an extraordinary connection on multiple levels. But here's the thing, if you're always looking for that and you built it up in your head to be something massive, or maybe you feel an extraordinary connection, like I said earlier, and it's a big connection, you have to ask yourself, what is that connection? And also, are we just looking for something that doesn't actually exist? I do think that when you meet someone that is compatible and you love them, there is a connection there, 100%, as there would be with anyone that you're compatible with and you love them. But if you're building yourself up to meet just this one, I need to find that one connection, then that could really make you just write off a whole load of people that actually you would have been really, really, really happy with, and you would have loved them really dearly, and they would have loved you really dearly, and it would have worked, and you wouldn't have even thought like you were missing out, but because you were just looking for something that doesn't exist, the one. Now it's hard. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, do you think like we sometimes convince ourselves that, you know, if like you break up with someone, do you think sometimes we convince ourselves that they were the one? Like our memory plays tricks on us a bit.
I think so. So I used to do this thing where I don't do it now, but my current partner, my forever partner, my forever guy, I used to think that he had already found the one. I was just you know.
Oh, like his previous relationship.
Yeah, and it was just a self-worth thing. I think I didn't value me, and so I used to think that about him. But he's very much sat me down on multiple occasions and said, "Listen,
you're the one.
Not even you're the one, but
we are the one.
We are it. Like we are the ones that are getting married. We're the ones that are doing that. So they ain't the ones because they ain't here, but yet we're the ones that are doing that and just cut that out. And so I think sometimes you can maybe think, some people do think that someone else, the one that got away, and that can really
that phrase comes up a lot. Yeah,
the one that got away. But I think that can plague you. I think it can play if you really think that someone was the one. If you never actually got to be with someone, because I know someone that used to do this. They said that they really, really liked this guy, and they never actually got to date him.
They never got to date him.
Yeah, but it's almost like he became this perfect image in her head. And so when I would say to her, but there's other people out there, she'd be like, no, but like I feel like that's the bar. And I was like, you don't know what he's like.
But you don't actually
have no idea. You don't know him.
It's a false
thing.
Picture.
It's a false picture. But she found it hard then to, meet new people because she built up this one and she used him, and so no one could ever reach that because she just invented something in her head, and that was the one that got away, and she's never going to find that one again. And I was like, man, that's a tough way to live. Because
that's hard, and also you shouldn't like just let regret dictate your life. Like regret shouldn't be in the driver's seat, and you shouldn't be looking back in the rear view mirror when you got the front view mirror to look at. And is that from the Bible?
No,
the rear view mirror thing. No, it just sounded very like.
They didn't even have rear view mirrors in biblical times because they had no cars.
Well, maybe for like their chariot or something like that.
Maybe they had.
But no, it just. It just sounded very kind of like godlike when I said that. Very spiritual.
No, it was very spiritual. It was very spiritual.
I feel God's presence right now. Wow.
Amen. Hallelujah. Amen.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, you should live your life fueled by regret, and even if they were the one at one point, they are definitely not the one now.
Yes. Oh, that's very good.
And it's just, they could have been the one, but they're definitely not the one now. So just move on.
But there's cases here on this article for people for the one not existing. So, and this is an interesting point because I was going to bring this up as well, but it's a very interesting point. So statistically, it's very improbable. The sheer number of people in this world, over 8 billion, makes the idea of there just being one perfect match highly improbable. What if your one lives on the other side of the world or in another era altogether? From a statistical standpoint, the idea of the one. What if they were born in the 1800s, so we're here in 2024? Like, we just missed each other by 200 years. What if? Oh no, what do you do? Can't go back in time, can you? So, from a statistical standpoint, the idea of the one feels limiting and unrealistic given the diversity and number of potential matches. And I think that is so true. What if you're one, quote unquote, it's a bit of a coincidence that you're just born in the same place, speaking the same language, with the same, like it's a bit of and I know that God works in mysterious ways, and I know this, but I just feel like it's a bit of a coincidence.
It's kind of annoying we can only marry one person, isn't it?
Wow.
That's a joke. That's a joke. I do not believe that.
Maybe that was your era, because in biblical times they married multiple. So maybe.
If I was in the Solomon era, I don't know.
You'd have a great old time.
Yeah, yeah, it would be a lot easier. No, it probably would be a lot even harder. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think commitment and just like a willingness to build with someone. I think because I think it's not so much who you find, it's what you bring to the table, it's what you build with that person. And I think that's my view. It's not who you find, it's what you build. And you can build something really beautiful with someone who is a helper, who is committed, who is just got your good interests at heart, good faith. Like, you could build something really beautiful. It doesn't matter if you don't have to feel like this ecstasy. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, like you were saying earlier, like ecstasy isn't love. Like, that's a different.
I don't think
It's a
so.
different chemical, I think.
It's a different chemical, and I think you need to feel an excitement for the person that you're planning to spend life with. There needs to be some kind of spark. I don't feel as though you have to either choose, compatibility or feelings. I think you can very much find someone that you feel both things with.